Hi, Mom. What's going on, everyone? Happy Friday night. It's a little past 8. Sorry about that. It's 8:05. What's happening? Welcome to Airbrush Down and Dirty Tricks Friday night edition. Couldn't do it last night. I had to move it to tonight. I had to let our 6 vehicles yesterday and run around like crazy. And by the time I got back to the studio, there wasn't enough time to get everything ready for last night. So I had to push it to tonight. So sorry about that. Let's make sure we got audio. I see audio here. Hopefully it's clear here. And let's see what we got going on. Who do we got here? Michael Stanton, what's happening? Michael Jarvis, Lindsay J. And hi, Mom, over on Facebook. Thank you all for popping in on a Friday evening. We're going to finish up this Dragon Castle. Not sure if any of you guys saw. About a half an hour ago, I dropped a 17-minute video on how I did the top of the castle turrets and got them all finished up. So that is up in live for those who want to follow that along later. If you downloaded the project files, that part is up online and ready to go. So let's show you where we're at, where we kind of left off. We left off here, and we didn't do the windows. We didn't do the castle turrets. Right here. So there is a video up online that shows how this was. It took about 15 minutes. And the real deal with this one, Mike being a grandfather yesterday. Congratulations, man. And Gary's got his name back. Congratulations. AJ Thompson over at Facebook. How you doing, brother? I'll give you a blah, 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 blah. I'll give you a brief synopsis. When we did the castle turrets, if you would look at it, so you see how the light's hitting the inside edges. An easy way to figure that out is the main light source we're going to be coming from is here, okay? Is from the dragon's mouth. And it's going to radiate out like this, okay? So what I did is I pulled these first so the light hits those. And the light doesn't hit those inners, but it hits the face. So I pull, paint, and then pull this size and paint. And therefore, you get that nice radius in the proper light direction. Then you highlight here, and here, and here, and then you don't do anything here and here. And you end up with basically that, which I haven't pulled these guys yet, and I'll pull those now. Because those aren't getting any light on it, okay? That's the kind of deal with them. So that's where we're at. The chains are left. All that's left to do the basic painting and the underpainting is the dragon itself. and the chains. So I'm gonna do this. I could go either way. I could do the bright center and do the teeth, but I kind of want the teeth to get a lot of reflective light. So it's a little cheating, but I want to do the teeth first because I want them to be really bright and noticeable. And then I'll do the fire. But you could do the teeth and leave them almost black like they're backlit. But I'm kind of envisioning the fire coming out and bouncing this whole environment and then glowing on the teeth. Okay, so that's kind of how I'm going to approach it and go from there. So like I'm going to do the bright eye in here. Okay, the eyeball. And I'm going to do the teeth, the main teeth. You'll see some are separated, and these bottom ones are just part of the jaw. Those are going to be in shadow, and it'll make sense. Okay, so let's do this. We got the eye pull. I'm going to pull the main fangs, like the front two, and really make them predominant. Because you can see how that tooth is there and it's backlit. So I'm not going to overpower it, but you know, I want to have it, you know, really pop out. So I still have my white. The colors I have still mixed up. I have a white. I have a gray, which I've used. We have a black. I have a cerulean blue candy. I have like almost like a cobalt to detail cerulean blue. Well, I have a Caribbean blue candy. Then I have it's basically a 1-to-1 blue violet and cerulean blue mix. Okay, that's what this color is. That's going to be kind of my dark blue. And then I have a purple to really darken things out. Okay, that's kind of the tones I'm going to kind of stick in and go from there. And as a reminder to anyone, we do have a bid on this with Honey Rivera at $250. If anyone wants to go over that, we are at a $250 bid. And we will move forward from there. Is Honey on tonight? Yes, Honey still has the top bid. We're going to leave it that we haven't taken any new bids. We don't take anything when we're offline. We keep this totally legit. Alright, so let's get this eye in here. I'm going to get that nice and bright. Really hot center. And tone that. The tooth, I'm just going to come down and do some basic... I wonder if I could zoom in on that a little bit and get a little bit focused. I'm just going to do some lines, some very faint lines there, because I like that black, because it really pushes it forward because we know it's backlit. Okay, so I'm not flooding it. Cody Adams joined as a trickster. Mike Manning with a $20 super chat. Thank you, sir. Much appreciated. Let's get back to this. Whoops. Whoa. Whoa, that was a big move. Boop. So I'm going to do the same thing with bottom. See how I just kissed that? Very little bit. I'm coming up from the bottom. We're using the stencil. And leaving a lot of the black there. And that's it. That's enough. It doesn't take much. So when I do these teeth, I'm just doing the littlest bit. And I can pull a bunch of these because they're separated enough. Okay. What? Something just got a removal over on Facebook for inappropriate. Your content goes against our community standards. Yeah, I think I request a review on that. That's weird. Yeah, that's odd. I'm going to go reset my Facebook feed and see if that happens again, because that's ridiculous. Super weird. Hold on. Wow, that was odd. I never had that happen. What if we have an internet troll? Let's see. Sorry, guys. I gotta attend to a little YouTube. Facebook. To see if that happens again. Alright, let's see what happens there. Oh, freezing cold in Edmonton, huh? Yeah. Green Camaro, what's going on, man? Can't believe I'm dealing... Facebook's always... I'm about ready to just cancel Facebook in general for trying to do live feeds. It's more of a problem than it seems to be worth. I don't know what's going on with this. Sorry, guys. I can't view Facebook on my app here. And this will be my last shot. If this doesn't work, then... Alright, seems to be back on. Jan Smith is watching. Alright, Facebook is back on. If it cancels off again, then so be it. Alright, so Dragon Face, back on the tooth, like I said. We have each one of these, and we're going to keep it really, really subtle. No feed on Facebook. I just loaded it back up. So if you see, I'm just doing little highlights on the front side of the tooth to kind of still maintain that backlit feel, but have a front glow coming up. And I'm going to do that in all the teeth. Like here. And here what I'm going to do is, because this is against another tooth, I'm going to make sure I hit this first. Right to the edge, just give it a little kiss like that, a little mist. Then we pull the next one. And just keep going down the line like that. Yeah, okay, so yeah, Facebook's working. I don't know what the hell would have caused a removal. I definitely didn't do anything. There's no music. No swearing that I remember. Did I swear? There's definitely no nudity unless dragon teeth are a problem. Considering you can drag everything else, I don't think dragon teeth are a problem. So like I said, I'm just doing the teeth that I have selected as fully shaped. So these I can pull out. These are just bumps part of the mouth, okay? So same thing here. I have you. And I have you. Dragons aren't allowed on Facebook. I guess. Alright, so we got you. And a lot of the main fire coming out is going to be done towards the later half. So I'm just establishing everything. So I'm going to pull the mouth. Like this. Alright, and so in here is going to be like a big burst, but I'm going to do a lot of it back here. I'm going to do some spinning. Like that. Like the fire's being made right there, okay? That's really about, I'm going to do a little bit here. I'm not going to do too much because the rest of the fire is in. In this tooth, I probably should have done a little bit more, so we're going to make him a little whiter. So we get that foreground tooth. Ah. Did your Facebook get hacked or did you get cloned, Airtodd? Hacked means you can't get back into it. Cloned means they copied you. The cloning's been happening a lot. I'm gonna pull those guys and just do that because that's like I said, that's where the fire's coming out, and we'll start doing some lines and stuff like later from in there. All right. We go to our nice little 3/4 view, what we got going on here. So you can see the reference material, where we're at, and you can kind of see the whole scene in its entirety. Because what we're trying to do right now is get everything balanced. Oh, that sucks, man, if you can't get in the original account. It's alright, I can't get into my bank account right now either, so. Because I ordered new checks, and my checks got interrupted in the mail. So I have to get all new business accounts now because my secure checks got taken somewhere in shipping, and someone wrote checks in out of my accounts. So it's really awesome. It happened a few months ago with another issue, so I'm dealing with it twice within 2 months. Alright, so we got here. So remember, a lot of this is going to stay kind of dark. And we can always bring it up. Yes, this is Wicked Opaque White. So we have to bring things up slowly here. So I'm going to start with the nose. I'm going to leave the gums. And you'll see why in a sec. And I'm just basically going to hit here, come off the nose here, and hit around where the nostril is going to be, and come down. I can hit a little bit around the edge like it's being underlit from this fire coming up. But I'm not trying to do a ton right here. You see I'm just doing a little bit, and then doing the other half of the nose. So just like when I'm telling you to do like fire and stuff, you can always add more. This you can always add more as well. So you don't want to go too bright too fast. Just like when you're on a white panel, you don't want to go too dark too fast. You can always add more highlighting. Like I can freehand that in and just bring that more forward. But I don't want to try to add black in. Adding black in at this point is kind of a pain. So I want to keep it subtle and kind of move it forward from there. So I'm doing that. I'm going to do like the eyebrows. You know, just those right above here. I'm going to get them nice and kind of bright, but leaving it dark towards the bottom. I'm going to go out to the next few here. So same thing, I'm pulling those eyes. And I'm just doing dagger strokes right down the top. I'm kind of highlighting to the top. If you're not comfortable with that, you can take a loose stencil like this, and you can just kind of hit the tops there, hit the top there, hit the top, and give yourself a little delineation line. I'm just going around. I'm going to do the big horn next. And again, these, I'm not doing a ton of detail on these because I want to keep his face pretty dark. I'm just doing little light, and I'm going to do some little kind of like ribs coming down, like it's catching the light. And I'm really just trying to get her along the edge here. And here will be some uplighting. Here will be some uplighting. Very, very little. Because as I unmask this, I can kind of see exactly where I want to be. Richard Voss, a master of sequential masking. Yeah, sequential masking is one of my big key. Is just a way to work around to really get the masking off as efficiently as possible with as much impact as possible, and basically I want the mask to do a lot of work for you. So yes, sequential masking is a huge key. So now I can do here, I can get him pretty dark because this part's backlit, so you don't have to get a lot on here. But as I get more towards the body, I can afford to get a little bit more paint on it to get a little bit more light. And I don't necessarily paint all the way to the edge, but I get enough that the overspray reacts, okay? Same thing here, I'm going to pull from here. Really subtle. And look, I'm just kissing that, just like that. I can maybe come do a few little lines to simulate a little bit of the dragon scale or rough texture. Same thing here, I'm just folding it back. It doesn't go all the way, doesn't have to. I can just come off that edge with a couple little soft dagger strokes. Same thing. Fold back here. Pull up. Same thing. I'm just rolling it back. A couple little dagger strokes. Just to set it up. No, I bought this one. I have some. I had one that Bob Spina gave me as a gift that I still use, but this was one I bought. What was it, Sorel, USA? I bought this one from. So you can get these pick tools almost anywhere. Sometimes I just use plastic razor blades, which I kind of turned everyone on to the scene about a long time ago. I love those as well. I am out of those right now. So I'm using these. So now I'm pulling that, okay? And again, I'm just doing a little bit. A little bit off the head. Yeah, there's a few you guys watching over on Facebook as well. Like I said, I don't know what happened with the original Facebook. The original Facebook got kicked off for violation, I guess. It doesn't like dragons. Guess drag queens are alright, but dragons aren't. Sorry, Facebook, but... That pulls most of that out. And again, just in here, I can put little highlights to simulate the rough skin. The little daggers going down. You can kind of blend this all in. Yeah, I got tons of the plastic razor blades, and yeah, I've been using those for years in the vinyl industry, and I started using them in custom paint. I'm like, where are those from? So I'm just gonna give a slight little just kiss of paint over this whole area. We'll zoom out, and you can see that because he's closer, he's darker because the background's really bright. The Year of the Dragon, exactly. That's the reason I started doing this in the first place. And there's no AI used on this. This is one of my sketches. So just fold in here, let that darken up a little bit inside the nostril. Soften that up. Because most of that dragon is done. And now this is the back. This is actually like the neck right here. In the back of the head. So we can just add, let's add a few little Dennis Mathewson scales on here, some small ones. Very subtle. Thanks, Bobby. Get you. Now we're going to pull the bottom jaw, which is a really big area. And you can see it kind of has some of the teeth kind of laid out in front of it. And I'm just going to kind of edge light or rim light the bottom of the jaw, the teeth. Just a very little bit. Just really subtle. We'll come in here. You know what? Let's use this is a circle template. circle template, we can come in here. I'm going to give him a little bit of an eyeball. That's kind of bright. Just to get it in there. And then in here, we're just going to give like the lights catching some scales. Some little subtlety there and there. And there. See that nice little bit? Just gives a little going on. Hello, Aunt Karen. Thanks for popping in. Okay, so the mouth is kind of done. And now I can pull the kind of membrane in between the upper and lower jaw and the gums. Mr. Steve Leahy is in the house. Thank you, sir. I'm going to give you a big thank you for popping in. My good friend, Mr. Leahy, who's in town. Still, I think, handling some family biz. Hope everyone is doing better. Just a little bit of detail in the gums. And that's it. The dragon is fully done. And actually, you want to take my little stencil here that I made with hot glue and just give a little bit of added texture to this guy. And go from there. Marty Martinez or Facebook, thank you, sir. Much appreciated. All right, now it is time. I almost want to do the chains last, but part of me wants to do them now. You know, I think I want to do a little color toning in here before I do anything. So we got some. I want to do a little dark purplish blue to the foreground. And in the background I want a bright blue. That's going to kind of set the fire up. And I'm using illustration base of this. So before I do that, Ryan, thank you for popping in for the first time. Much appreciated. And we are in part 2 of this dragon piece. Okay, so what I want to do is I want this background to be more of a bright blue. So I'm going to use a cerulean blue back here and then the candy Caribbean blue. But I don't want to put that up front because I want this to be more of a dark bluish purple tone. So I want to give a little separation, and I could plot a whole new thing, or I could just take my paper cutout, which is sized 1:1. Remember, when you print these based on the download file, you know, that download file is... I can't find it. Right here. If you go to McKayFineArt.com, you can get that download file. That's on there for the dragon set. And remember, if you're a member, like these folks, you get 20% off that download for the rest of the month. So you can join our Facebook group. Like we had a member join tonight. Sorry you're not on the list yet. You will be next week. So when you join up, you get that. And Dave the Bug Gregory with a huge super chat. Huge, huge. Man, I need a bigger I need a bigger alarm. Bug, thank you very much. It's really, really appreciated. Very, very, very appreciated. Especially this week, because I had to close my account down. Not my YouTube one. My actual business one, because of fraud. Fraud's amazing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this out. You know what? I need to change this blade. It's a little bit weak. Get a new freshie. Get a freshie blade. Sorry for being in the camp. And I just dumped a whole box of 50 blades on the ground. Yay! Yeah, that needs I need a big... Exactly, Michael. I need a big cowbell button. Alright, let me bring this up so you can see. Okay, brand new freshie blade. So what I'm going to do is I want to make this a 2-part stencil so I can keep the light blue up on this side and the dark blue down here. Alright, so we're just going to go through. We're going to take our time. Yeah. So this will line up with my plotted mask, which I've already done, because I print it at the same scale as I plot it. So when you plot it, basically what you do is when you go to your printer, you print the image full size with no scaling. So it means you don't scale it down. You print it at 100%. And that'll keep you kind of squared off. Green cowbells, yep. We could definitely use little money symbols in them. Yeah, I gotta make some new symbols. There's a lot I gotta do for all my lovely members who take care of me and support me. All the members here. I haven't done a Patreon setup because most of you guys all do it through here. I think it works out pretty easy. If some of you guys would do it through Patreon because you don't want to do it here, let me know. I'll consider turning that on. I just haven't done the whole Patreon setup, but I thought about it. The dragon here. So the paper takes a little bit, but sometimes, you know, what I like about the paper is when I'm doing shading color, I don't want a super hard vinyl crisp edge. I want the kind of softer freehand shield that paper yields as a result. Because it'll soften the painting overall and not be so crispy hard edged. This really doesn't take long. I mean, realistically, if I had to stop, go to the computer, load in the vinyl mask, set it up, you know, plot it, wait for it, pick it, weed it, tape it, stick it, it's really not that much faster or slower, for that matter, to do what I'm doing here. So it's just kind of easier for me to do it like this. And honestly, you should really know how to do both. You should be as good with a blade freehand as you are with a plotter, Because if you're not, the plotter is going to help you, but it's also going to limit you a lot. Alright, so that's going to give me the light blue up top, okay? Which I don't need right now because I want to do the darker first. So what I'm going to do is going to come here. Let's see if this will let me... Oh, yeah. Man, I love those big magnets. These big, blocky, chunky. I got a lot of different size magnets here. With these big rectangle neodymium. If I really like coats, it seems like it's not covering it, then it'll hit the switch and turn on. Yeah, Steve is exactly right when it comes to the that Quicksilver. It doesn't look like it's doing anything, but man, when it turns on, it's a lot. So yeah, light coats. Okay, so what I'm going to do here. This is a little over-reduced. This is illustration. This is not candy. I don't want to do candy just now. See, it's like a nice dark blue. So I can switch out here. And I don't need to kiss everything, just kind of in the darker areas. Because this brighter blue area, I could use that candy later. I'm really just going in the shadows with the darker blue, letting the whites kind of do their thing. Kind of come up the side. And the very outer edges. I can do a little bit of the dragon. Just so we get a little blue tone to them. See that? You could pick your color. You could do greens. You could do orangey reds. Orangey reds, I probably would have done a little bit more yellow to the backing. Esther McCauley, Aunt Esther over on Facebook. How are you? Happy 2024. Thank you for popping in. So it's okay if I kill this detail here, because I want to bring this black out with like a hot fire. But this allows me a little bit of that. Now we can pull this off. See that pop? Now I have that nice little blue pop. And I can do a little here inside the wings and soften it with a little freehand. I wanted to kind of get a little blue tone established before I did the chains and the final fire color, okay? It's kind of what I was going for. Just to do that. And if I want to do some really dark, I have some purple mixed up here. Which I apologize, I forget which. Oh no, here it is. Regular illustration violet. I can kind of get in here with the dark and get that, do that nice established, almost shadow color purple. But just being very strategic where it's darkest. Before I start doing the fire glow. And where the fire is, Like and share. Yeah, we still need it. Mike Manning's right. We still need to get those subscribers. Last I checked, we were like 18 or 19 shy. That's it, man. We are so close to my 10,000 goal. I don't get anything special at 10,000, but it's just a nice number to hit. You know, hit that 10,000 goal, it would just be cool. I really wanted to hit it by the new year. Let's see, can I see where we're at right now? Let's see, get my phone out here. Let's see where we're at. Officially, we are at 9,081 subscribers. 9,981. So I need 19 more, you guys. So if all 35 of you who aren't watching aren't subscribed, get it done. Doesn't cost you anything. Get that subscription going. Get me over 10K. And that would be just a really cool go. Alright, so now my Caribbean Blue is a 1-to-1 mix of 40/50 gloss and Caribbean candy. Thank you, subscriber. Thank you, Nameless. Yeah, I always want the perspective to be right. And especially a piece like this, that's kind of the big sell. That's kind of what makes it work. Alright, let's take the other half of the cut now. Ooh, actually, watch this. Watch. Hold on. Shh. No. We gotta cut the windows out. And make sure we get those. To the window. No, I didn't say that. Why is this? I don't worry too much with the like button during the feed, because half the time it doesn't populate for a while. So a lot of people can hit it, and it doesn't look like it's doing much, and then like an hour later, a whole bunch of them pop in. So I don't stress too much over that. But definitely hit the like button. I don't want to work with Steve. Why would I want to work with Steve? Kidding. Man, me and Steve did a lot of workshops together back in the day. Down in Easton. Dozens. I'd say we probably did at least two or three dozen. Go here. You know what? Let me do the mouth too. This will help me keep a little color separation. Mr. Barker, how's it going, man? Alright, Facebook is still back on, so obviously it didn't get shut off a second time. Still can't figure why the first feed got shut off. Maybe there was a troll on there that complained about something. Maybe Big Brother thought I said something when I didn't. Or I said something, didn't realize it. Steve, you need a magnifying glass. Alright, let's utilize this. See how we do here. Alright, so now I'm going to do the blue fire up on top. This is the Candy Caribbean Blue, or Carib Blue. Dear Createx, I hate the name Carib because I want to say Caribbean and it doesn't count. So, it is what it is. So the Caribbean blue is a little brighter than the blue I've used. And I want to put most of it, I'm going to turn the pressure up a little bit. I want to put most of it in the darker areas of what I've already established. And then maybe a little bit on the wings, like it's kissing the wings. We'll go inside the fire. And we will go inside the mouth. And see, just kind of get those little bit of color differences. The two different blues. One's a little richer, darker, and it kind of helps set that foreground, background. I want to get that blue eye, that bright blue there. Yeah, maybe the intro was, but the intro is a completely zero. It's through YouTube. It's officially like royalty free. I was really careful about it this time. My old one had to be split with someone else. That's why I changed it. So I don't know. I don't know. Okay, so now, whoops, there's a little piece of mask here. Okay, so now I can get this blue, because where the blue setting is going to be where the fire is more the glow. The darker blue is more like the secondary. That's kind of how I'm doing this. Cool. Good, good, good. All right, now, I really want to put, before I do too much fire, I want to get a glow around these chains. So I'm just going to kiss a little bit of white right up these. And I'm going to do like a little fire glow right at the edge of these guys here. So I can then hit them with the blue and get that delineation. That's what that's going to be for. Get that nice bright blue glow off those, because that's going to be the fire glow. We'll bring some big white glow in here at some point. Enoch Madrid, what's happening, man? Thanks for popping in on the Facebook feed. Check out the YouTube feed. It's a little bit better quality. Alright, so we're at a nice midpoint here. I can carve a little bit of the fire detail, just a little with that same Caribbean blue, just dark. Just staying in the black areas, which really isn't black, it's just a darker, just to kind of establish future pop. Thanks, man, appreciate that. Remember, still keeping it loose. Loose to tight, like Mike always said. Loose to tight, dark to light. So obviously we're going to get these darker fire colors established and then start bringing the brighter tones after. So I'm going to come in here, like watch, I'll hit that. And I'll use that stencil very sparingly just to kind of set that apart. But it doesn't overpower it. You really don't want to overdo it. That was Mike's big thing. If I learned anything from Mike, was just keeping it subtle. Less is more. And just let that kind of shape happen. That was the big key. Okay, just lightly establishing some shape to the fire and some color value and tone. Because I'm going to have a hotter blast come out of his mouth at the end and really pop this side of the castle with the primary light. Then we'll have secondary light over here. Okay, but the primary is going to be coming out of his mouth and hitting here. Okay, and obviously we have the castle burning in the background, which is that really blue. So it's telling a story. The castle indoor is already lit. The drawbridges come down. Dragon's coming out. So the castle's done. And talking yourself through the stories definitely helps kind of establish what's going on. And you kind of want to plan where things are happening. And it's going to help you tell that story. It's going to help you pop that out and really make a meaningful painting. Because what we'll do, we're at the first hour of part 2, so we're already a really good phase. You know, we're at a good stage. The only thing that's still masked out is the chain, and now I've established this kind of blue tonal. I can really bring back in. We'll darken that side a little bit. Darken that side a little bit. And now I can hit like the fire here. See what I mean? That can get really... See how bright that pops? This has a little reducer, so it's going to kind of go back in and bleed a little bit. Just kind of over-reduced. I kind of want that right now. I'll go back to a more solid opaque for the brighter stuff. And I got a little too aggressive there. But I'll make it work. They'll make it work. I'm going to make this a little bit more opaque. And let's switch up some angles here. You can see the reference. So, get just a little bit of different shot here. Let me bring this one in a little more, guys. Give me a second. I'm going to just bring that down. Refocus you. There we go. Now you can kind of see the multiple angles what we got going on there. You know what it's time for? We got a nice clear big ice cube here. We haven't even touched our Friday Night Libations. Let's get that in there. And that cube almost disappears. Look at that. Nice. Gotta love clear cubes. Looks like there's nothing in there. You can just see it. Alright, we got a little bit more opaque white going here. A little less reducer. I can bring that inner fire kind of glow up a little bit. We can bring the eye up a little bit. Same thing here. We can kind of get that fire glowing a little bit more. And kind of just growing up the side. So we're just going to have it kind of hit the side of the castle wall and like kind of wrap around it. Let's see, by going to the more opaque, I don't get that color bleed into the candy as much. And I can control that shape a little bit more of the fire. Okay, same thing here. The bleed really happens in solvent and in water. It's the reducer. So if you're using a really hot reducer, it's going to reactivate that candy underneath it a little bit more with water than with solvent. But nonetheless, it still kind of does the same thing. So you got to be a little bit more careful with the hot solvent. You don't want to over react everything. Some bourbons can be too earthy. For me, you know, scotches are too earthy. Bourbons are a lot better, but I totally get it. Bourbons can be really tobacco-y, or they can be kind of more caramely, so there's a really big difference in the blends. But like scotches, I can't do. Scotches all take like peaty, dirt, moss to me. So yeah, just picking away at some highlights. Taking my time, being real strategic. Of the teeth. And let's get these chains going, okay? The chains are kind of the big thing. The chains don't have any candies. I can do a little bit more reducer. Remember, my reducer is a 4-to-1 mix of the 4011 and the 4020. So the 4020 does make it a little hotter because the 4020 is got a little bit of flammables in it, a little bit of acetone in it, and that's going to make it react with the candy. Because I used a blue Caribbean candy, when I hit that stuff, it will melt. When I'm hitting the darker blue, it won't melt because that's a base color. That's a illustration color. So you got to play with them a little bit, which you use when and how. And I tipped over my gray bottle right here, so hold on a second. We're going to have to pick up that. No big deal. Alright, let's take a look at these chains. Alright, so the chains are a little tricky. If you've done my chain how-tos, most of the chain how-to, which is really old, I should really do another one. You can't import. Oh, you can't really. They won't let you bring 4020 at all. It's such a little amount of acetone. I mean, it's probably less than isopropyl alcohol as far as flammable. That's crazy. These countries, man. All right. So, like I said, when you look at this, we look at the fire coming out from the mouth and hitting. So they're really hitting these outer edges of these chains first. Okay, and that being the case, that's what I'm going to pull first. Okay, I'm going to pull that, and then I'm going to pull the upper ones and highlight those. And the back sections can be almost as is. Okay? It's getting ridiculous. I mean, no, Darren, we are still at a $250 bid from Honey Rivera. That's where we're at. Jeff Jackson. Cold? I'm not. It's always cold up here. Cheers. All right. All right. So what I'm going to do, and this is what I like to try doing chains. Darren, thank you, sir. Is I know I want this side to be the predominant. What I'm going to do, as long as they don't touch each other, I'm going to pull those first. Okay. Because these chains are really selling the dimension. That's why I'm doing them last. Okay? Because I can really kind of bring those out to the foreground. Is Honey... I'm not even sure if Honey is on. I haven't seen Honey tonight. So Honey put this bid in last week. Okay? So it's still reserved from last week because she was the highest bidder. She might be busy. She might be at work. I don't know. But she did know this was going to be a two-parter, so the chance of it getting overbid happened. Let's see. Time for a tea party. A tea party. Tea party. I don't know what that means. Okay. Joe Larry Mason, what's going on, man? Best beard in the industry. How you doing, brother? Thank you for popping in. Again, cheers. All right. So the chains, like I said, we gotta, we already have that glow around it, so we don't want to kill it. So I need to really keep that black. Well, that makes sense. No wonder I didn't see her. Yes. Yep. So what I'm going to do is the chain is really just going to be highlighted. Like it's catching some light. So notice what I'm doing. It's so subtle. And you got the little weld where it's Boston Tea Party. Yeah. You know, I gotta say, a buddy of mine came up from Tennessee a few months back actually, on his way to England. And he was in town, so I went and visited him. He never had Boston lobster before, and want to see some tourist things. So we actually went to the Boston Tea Party event, like the whole tourist attraction. And I've lived here my whole life. I've never been to the Boston Tea Party thing. It's when you live somewhere, you don't go to the touristy things. But he came in and we were there, so we wanted to do it, and it was right before the anniversary, so we went to the Tea Party. And I gotta tell you, the Boston Tea Party Museum and whole kind of thing, thumbs up, well done. They do a really good presentation. Some of the animations they do are like Disney level. Very impressive, actually. So I will give them credit. You got cheese and grits. You got to have the weld. You got to have this little whoop whoop, these little highlights right around it. That's the key. That little weld, and some little squiggle reflections. Remember, at night, like this stuff, chains are mostly reflections. So you gotta do just a little bit, do that little weld right there. And then as you get up here, you just sell it a little bit. These are the ones that matter right here. Okay? So let's come over here. Weld. Core highlight, reflective highlight around the chain going around the corner. I hope this looks good. I haven't done this in a long time. So we'll see. Dave, yes. Dave, the bid is still at $250. This is a full 12x18 panel. This is actually the third video. Because if you missed it earlier, I did about a 15-minute video on just the turrets right here. And I think I'm going to finish this tonight, or finish it enough where I might do like an hour afterwards of picking final details and color tones just to kind of work it. But it's pretty close to being done. Because right now we're kind of on the chain how to. which is just little bits of light against the black. See that? Just that little bit. So I pulled those. And then... like what, this chain is going to be the big one here. Like getting this one right. Getting this one right is big to really sell it. Right here, this link. That's the big. There. There's another guy here. And then this is the back side of the same link. And you just got to see that through just a little bit. And you can see that kind of twist. It's definitely tricky to do a 3/4 chain. So before we do it, actually, I'm going to miss this whole thing. Because you can see, we need that delineation. Just like that. Now I can pull this. And you can see that chain link here. We can do the reflection, the highlights. Little bits. Most of it's going to be black. You know, it's going to be very dark. That chain there. Just work your way up. And then you'll really start to get that nice chain. Like, let me switch into top down. You can kind of see how that chain's kind of starting to shape up. A little loose. It's definitely going to take some freehand work. Sorry it's so cold up there. Rick Lever, yeah, negative 35C. So what's negative 35C? You guys use Celsius. Make it sound worse than it is. So that's 0? Fahrenheit? Hold on. Hold, please. Hey Siri, what's negative 35C in Fahrenheit? Because I can't do the conversion. No. Tell me the... Hey Siri, what's negative 35 Celsius in Fahrenheit? Well, that's stupid. That's not the same. Negative 35C is negative 31 Fahrenheit? Really? I don't buy it. And if that is, then yeah, it's cold. It's damn cold. As my nephew would say. It's damn cold. Just little bits of this chain and really get it to pull together. Little highlights, little shades. Very little bits. And it's really just picking and weeding against the edges and establishing what's foreground and what's background. And then remember, you're going to come in with some freehand and really sell it. And there's a chain. And basically it's all going in to this really dark part of the castle. It's not bad. It definitely needs a little bit of work. Let's get on this side. Honey, but since you're not outbid yet, that makes the top bid $270. She's here for the last half. Alright, so we're going back here. We got our chains. We got you. We're going to pull all these facing ones, these top ones, this time. So I pulled all the side facing ones down, pulling all. Oh, so it's 13 Fahrenheit. Okay, yeah, it makes more sense. It's cold. We've actually been really warm this week. We had a huge storm last week. We got 17 inches of snow in about 12, 14 hours. And then the next day we freaking rained. And then the day after that we were warm. Honey, you are still the high bid. You were at $270 with your newest super chat. Yes, so you got that shade. Now we're just going to work our way up. We got the link. Just little highlights. There's definitely going to be some black and blue mixed in here. And then the fire that we do everywhere is really just going to sell this and bring it home. Maybe the fire will come around here a little bit, scroll around. Oh, and the cape, yeah, you guys got nothing on the cape. So just to be clear, and I don't often check Facebook, we don't get many bids on Facebook, so I got Rick Lever over on Facebook saying 300. So Rick just confirmed that that's an official bid, and I'll confirm it on both sides. Thank you, Gary, for seeing that. I just popped over, and let me know if that... Rick just confirmed that that's a bid for the painting, and if it is, I will put you as the top bidder. A match is starting. If anyone breaks... Alright, Rick is the high bidder. At 300. Thank you, Rick. Oh, well, honey just went to 325, Rick, so sorry. There's just not as many people over on Facebook that are seeing it. So, there's 41 people over on Facebook, on YouTube, whereas Facebook has like 3 to 5. So I don't see it as much. Okay, Rick is at 350. Okay, thank you, Rick. Rick is at 350. I'm looking at them both side by side. Alright, let me get back to this, and if Gary sees me keep an eye, thank you, Gary. Alright, so we got to go here. I got this little guy here. Get you. Yeah, I can pull all these back panels now. You're all part of that. Okay, that's the back link. That's the link. We almost have all the masking off. It's just the chains. Those little fire sticks. Oh, honey's at 4. Honey's at 4. Honey's at 400. Rick, honey's at 400. Oh, Gary's got it on covered on both sides. Thank you, Gary. Darren, I like that pool you posted on your Facebook today. Where you took that big pool and made that nice walk-in pool. That was nice. That smaller walk-in pool is money. And I saw that house you're working on looked great too. Darren's an amazing interior painter. So if you're in the Northeast region, need someone to paint your interior, Darren's done my house. Yes, I'm a painter who hires other really good painters. Because I know my limits. Rick is out. Rick, I really, really appreciate the bid, sir. Thank you very much. I appreciate you coming in. Honey, you are the top bidder at 400, which is obviously minus your 2 super chats, your 20 from tonight, and I forget what it was the other night, but we can work that up for today. I believe you did like 25, something like that. We'll figure it out. Right here. There's a hole in the castle wall here where the chains are going into. So for you guys who downloaded this piece, it's a very challenging piece. It's got a lot of little pieces to go through. If you're confused about what I'm doing first and you need me to kind of work up something a little bit more formal, let me know. But it's really just foreground and background components. And let that work in. Okay? Okay, so now I can go through. I'm using the purple. I'm going to darken some of this up just in here, and then I'll go to the blue. Yeah, it's looking really cool. This is a really favorite painting of mine I did a long time ago, and I've always wanted to redo it. So whatever this painting is going to end up, honey, tonight, this will be the last feed of it. I'll probably record some of the finish up, but most of it's just going to be little details. It's going to be just a little contrasted highlight detail. So I won't do a live feed. I'll probably record, for those who download the project, some of the finish up. This is the biggest piece of 2024. Yeah, that's the first piece of 2024. We're going to get that fire glow on the end of these torches. And you see, that just a little bit, it just adds that depth. What I really think I'm going to do is, because there's so much going on here, I think a little bit of candy blue. Then I think I'm going to intercoat this. I might intercoat clear this so I can really pop out some brush work and some detail work. But let's work a little bit more, see how far we get. And then we'll do that big final pop, which is all the white highlights and all the bright colors. But I may need to do an intercoat in the middle of this because there's so much going on. So I want to tone that blue chain. There we go. We want to tone that down with some blue. I want to bring those white highlights back out. Actually, let's darken some things before we brighten them. It's actually, in camera, it's brighter than it is in here. In here, I really want to get some more pop that I'm starting to lose. And I really want to get this really, really pop. Let's see what happens when I'm on this. That looks great, but it starts to go blue on me, and I need to put a little intercoat or a bleed checker on it. So I'm going to put a little 40-50 on this, but I can't do that live and have it really finished. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little bit of this. The final bid is going to be whoever gets in tonight, which is right now, it's Connie's at 400. And then I am going to finish this off. I will record it for everyone who's bought this feed, but we're not going to accept any more bids after I finish this feed tonight, because I don't think it'll be fair. Because I want to detail some of these bricks. Like these bricks here, like I want to put a little highlight like this, on that brick like that. See that stuff? This is what I'm going to do for another, like, probably hour after the feed. But before I do that, I'm going to put an intercoat layer on this, like a pre-clear, so I can really get that white and blue to pop, especially on these chains, because I just can't do it live to the way I really, really want to do it. So if I was doing solvent, I might be able to get it there, but even that would be tricky at this point, because sometimes when you rush it too fast, it's just you have too much wet paint going on live to make it happen. So I'm really gonna poke at these chains here on the brick. And a painting this size at a $400 bid deserves that extra work to be not rushed. And with everyone's live feed, contributions, I think it's only fair to record it. And I can take my time on it and really get what I need to get out of it. as opposed to rushing it. And then Honey will get the first painting of 2024. Dave Geroin, what's happening, my brother? Thank you for popping into the live feed. But you can see with these two angles, you can see the difference. It's popping, but I really want to balance some things out. Like, I'll show you what I really want to get. This is one of the pops I want to get. I want to pop right above, I want to pop inside here. I want to get above the castle just a little bit more. Popped. A little bit there. And definitely a little fire going there. And that stuff's just going to really help sell the seed overall. Honey, thank you very much. You know what? I'm freezing this off. The bids are done. Honey's in at her final bid of $400. She's been a huge supporter. Her and Gary over the past couple years have been huge. Where she's going to go, I'm going to leave her as a top bidder. We're not taking any more bids on it. This is Honey's painting. Thank you, Honey, for all your support. To everyone in this industry, too. And I am going to wrap this painting up. Over the weekend, and we'll record it for everyone doing the how-to. So everyone who's doing the how-to, to this point here, we're kind of at the mid-color stage. We've done all the masking. We've got all the color. We really want to start refining. So what I do at this point, I am going to actually dump the white. We're going to go to the darkest blue with a little black. I'm going to carve some detail in here. And then the final painting itself will have all the little stuff after that. But I want to really go in here like these dark areas. And just carve in a little detail. Just in here, just to really get a little kind of grunge going and in between the brick and shadow. Because you got to carve some dark color. You can't do everything with the bright colors and white. You have to get dark. And by freehanding, it's definitely going to take the stencil look out of this piece. So when I go into here, so look at this side of this side. This side, all I'm doing, I'm going on the dark sides. I added a little blue to my black. I mean, a little black to my blue, sorry. And now I'm going through, in all those masking edges, I'm just kind of tracing over and softening them up and maybe giving them a little bit of drop shadow, a little bit of extra oomph. And see how this side's softer than this side. And it gives it a much cooler look, and I can give it a little darker tone. We can get some more grit in the brick. Doesn't have to be every brick, but if you do them with a good percentage of them, and like this kind of castle window, I've got a lot of fire going on here, so I lost a little bit of it. I don't think I need to put the mask back on to pull it back out because I want it kind of loose and kind of wavy. But if I decide to, it's pretty easy to replot another mask and just handle it from there. Mr. Barker, thanks for popping in. Like I said, we're going to come in here, hit these darks. But those of you who have downloaded it, if you missed it, the turret here earlier, these top sections that weren't done last week are live. That video is live right now. Remember, I want to really soften these stenciled bricks. They're not perfect. In fact, you don't want them perfect. We're trying to go for that old kind of gothic-y look. You almost want a little rough look to it. It makes the painting more interesting. And then we're going to go in here. You know what? I'm going to wait. I'm going to leave this, because I want to really detail him in black and him in black. Michael, are you doing this painting? Start to finish? I know there's a handful of guys who downloaded it. So get to this point, I'm going to have some more to do in the coming week. This is a big painting. I always knew this one was going to be kind of big, and I held off on it for a while because I knew it was going to take Bobby Silva does the dragon. Yeah, so this download is this whole scene. It's this whole scene without the brick, so it's a smooth castle. And then it's the pattern I used here, so you can actually repeat that pattern across different projects. And that's on McKayFineArt.com. Yeah, because I want to brighten his face up a little bit. Then I want to go in and I want to get little details like that. We're going to get some detail in here. And this piece is definitely going to have a little bit more rework. But this is the 90% mark. From here, this is, you know, coming in doing scales and details. But before I really spend a ton of time doing this, I really think it warrants a blast of 4050 or SG100 Intercoat Clear. That way this can be locked down and I can do new layers of foundation on top of it. And that might include a little brush work and some final candies that I will record. That will be up here. That will be up on YouTube. But sometimes it's hard to cover all this stuff that requires a big painting live. So with a YouTube video, with a pre-record of the wrap-up of this, this will probably be about a 5-hour how-to when you add the 2 live feeds together, plus the 15-minute, 17-minute turrets, and then probably another 15-20-minute wrap-up. But it'll be a 5-hour how-to video to do this. The download is on McKayFineArt.com for, I think, $30, and then it's 20% off for all our members of YouTube, which is all these guys here, which if you're a member, you can join up for the rest of the month. It's going to be 20% off all downloads. So that's what we got going on there. Maybe I should wait till I get a Tim class under my belt. Maybe. And I can actually, you know what I'm going to do here? I want to pop this wing in the background a little bit more with a little bit of shadow before I wrap up for the night and call it a weekend. And I have to go deal with my bank accounts. And that's kind of where we're at, man. I want to thank everyone for popping in. I want to thank Honey. Like I said, I'm not accepting any more bids on this. I don't think any more live will be worth it for everyone. Because right now we're at a lot of nuance. And I think nuance is better explained in a technical how-to video that I can edit and really talk about, rather than trying to force it live in a time frame. Okay, because the time frames I have to just keep going and make it interesting. But when I record, I can pause and stop and think about what I'm saying and how I'm presenting it. And I think a painting of this volume and trying to get this to pull out just right, I think really warrants the time in a recorded context than, because I'm missing some things here. Because I think this chain, I like it, but I think it needs to be remasked. And I'm going to talk about that why when I do the recording. So I hope everyone got this far in it. And wait patiently. I will record this beginning of the week, maybe over the weekend, and we will get this thing done. In the final verdict, the final painting will automatically go to Honey. But I really want to make this one cool. And we just need that pop. And to get that pop, I want to finish up a few things right here. And then I'm going to intercoat it. And then we're going to do the final version at the end. Which is what I do on motorcycles a lot. A lot of times with motorcycle custom paint, I will get to this stage, or just at the end of this, I'll clear coat the bike with 3 coats of 2K clear, wet sand that after a day, let it sit, and then I'll do all those final highlights, those final brights, and those final details. Because if I don't like something, I can take it off without messing up the painting itself. It's a nice way to get that really big final impact. Because for anyone who does high-end automotive clear coat on motorcycles and custom cars, you're always clear coating it twice. You're never getting away with, and you shouldn't do one round of 4, 6, 8, 9 coats of clear after the artwork's done. I don't care how good your quality clear is. It's not appropriate. You will get some dieback. You will get some shrinkage. It's not worth the risk. You're better off laying 3 nice coats on it, letting that sit for a day, wet sanding it flat, and then taking the time to get those final details, those final bright spots and tones, and then doing a final round of clear that doesn't have all those paint layers there for the clear to soak into. It's a much better way to approach your work. And when I price murals like this and I price high-end artwork on motorcycles, it's always a 2 clear coat session. It is 80%, 90% of the artwork gets done. We do 4 coats of clear, maybe 3, usually 4. We wet sand that, let it sit and cure for a couple days. And then I go back in and do all the final effects, all the final cleanup, all the perfections to make sure it's all right. Then the final clear coat goes down, and that's what gets wet sanded and polished. And if need be, if it's a really ultimate job and it really needs it, I will then sand that clear one more time and do an ultimate final. If the job warrants it, those are very rare. Those are jobs that usually have artwork, then pinstriping, then leafing, and things like that usually have a lot of layers like that. But that's where I sit. I typically never go over 3 flow coats, 4 coats of clear total, which means like a mid coat and 3 wet coats. It's not appropriate to do anything after that. I don't care who tells you how awesome their clear is and how much they get away with it. Yeah, you got away with it. When you're doing a motorcycle that's worth $50,000 and you've done $10,000 in artwork, you're better off doing 4 coats, sanding it, and doing 4 more later. The clear is going to lay out better, it's going to buff easier, and you have more time to fix your artwork. That's how I look at it. That's my preaching. It is Friday night. It is almost 10. This is where I want it to be right now. I'm going to do maybe 10 more minutes here or so. I'm going to clear coat this and show you, sand it, and then I'm going to finish up the rest. So thank you all for watching this. Next Thursday we'll do a new project. For those who downloaded this project, keep an eye on the feed. Keep an eye on the channel. We'll have everything wrapped up. And maybe what I'll do is once this is all done, I'll compact it all into one download to one congruent video that has everything in it as opposed to 3 or 4. I just didn't want to rush this at the end. We got 12 minutes. I can kind of finish this 12 minutes acceptable, but I want to give you all that's worth. And it's a cool painting, so it deserves it. So have an amazing weekend. Be safe, be healthy. I'll see you all next week. Thank you for tuning in to Airbrush Down Dirty Tricks. Make sure you share it. Make sure you like it. Make sure you subscribe, because we should be at 10,000 before next week. If we're not, I'm going to be sad. Have a good one.